Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into comic book movies, blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm here with a friend of the show. We have Leo from the Geekly Goods YouTube channel, and today we're here to talk about one of the best sci-fi shows you should be watching this year, and that is Raised by Wolves Season 2. And this is where we're going to be giving our overview of the first 6 episodes for all of our listeners today. And of course, this goes without saying, but we will not be giving spoilers for those episodes that have aired just yet. So don't worry about that whatsoever. So episodes 1 through 3, as of right now, as of this recording, are now streaming on HBO Max. So we will be dabbling into, especially episode 1 and 2, since as of this recording, I believe episode 3 just dropped tonight. So we're going to try to, teeter around that, just give our overviews between those episodes. And of course, 4, 5, and 6, more just general thoughts. But a little bit of housekeeping here before we begin today's episode. You can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, you name it. And if you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Filmoptix. That is Optix with an X. Or actually, you can email us as well at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. So we're just going to start this bad boy off. Leo, how the heck are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing real good. I'm excited to talk about this show because I watched it a couple weeks ago and I'm still thinking about it, man. I think that this is easily, like you were saying earlier, one of the best sci-fi shows on television. I think that this is so deep and there's so much like story being told that, man, I'm just really immersed in all of it. And I'm like, I really want to go read some wikis, and like the lore is just so rich, and I'm really looking forward to where things are going. We're doing spoilers for episode 1 and 2, right?
Yeah. We'll definitely be getting into that here soon in a bit. But yeah, man, I'm glad to have you back on, man. It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while since we've kind of just done a collab, whether it's on your channel or here on the podcast. We've both been busy. It's new year.
Yeah. I appreciate that, movies. Man. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah. I mean, everyone out there, I mean, Leo, he's always hitting everybody up with the HBO special. I feel like he's bringing it back, but I'm not sure. We'll see. We will see. But are you ready to get into our Raised by Wolves
Yeah,
review?
Man. Let's dive into it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to Raised by Wolves Season 2.
I have to keep my children safe.
I am the prophet.
Nothing can stand against me.
To be worthy of soul's loved children, you only need faith.
And that is one thing that this robot can never take away from us.
Love is the death of us all.
What fun we're going to have today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with our Raised by Wolves Season 2 review. Creators are as followed. Aaron Guzikowski. I'm so sorry if I butchered that, but that's I'm terrible with names. Anyway, so it stars Travis Fimmel, Amanda Collin, and Abubakar, Salim. Let's move on to the synopsis here. And the synopsis is as follows. 2 androids are tasked with raising human children on a mysterious virgin planet as the human colonies threatens to be torn apart by religious differences. The androids learn that controlling the beliefs of humans is a treacherous, difficult task. So a few things to know before we get back into our review, just to kind of reiterate, this episode we'll be covering our initial thoughts of episode 1 through 6 of Raised by Wolves Season 2. And as of this recording, since episodes 1 through 3 are now streaming on HBO Max, they may contain spoilers. I just want to let you guys know. So if you haven't seen at least episodes 1 through 2, turn back now. And of course, we're going to be giving our brief thoughts about episodes 3 through 6, non-spoilers. We're going to keep these as general as we possibly can, since the show does drop on a weekly basis. And for future reference, the show does drop on Thursdays instead of Fridays. So, Disney Plus has the Wednesday slot. We got some Thursday action going on over at HBO. So, yeah, let's kind of just dive straight in. I'm going to pass it back over to Leo so he can give his initial reactions about the first 6 episodes. I believe he actually has a review over on his channel as well. They'll be in the episode notes down below. But Leo, I'm going to pass it over to you so you can give your initial reactions on Raised by Wolves season 2.
Yeah, so season 2 seriously just expands on all the best things about season 1. It really does just double down on the 2 themes of, religion, the AI, and the battle between the 2 entities. I love what they're doing with characters this season. Love where they're taking Campion. I think they're taking him in a direction that can really be promising to that character, and probably a more realistic path to being the leader that they want him to be. I think he's naturally coming into his own, and I'm really liking seeing that character development in him. I think, man, Lamia, man, I could see some stuff brewing with her and father, and I'm loving that they are clearly exhibiting so many human traits at this point. That like the androids are expressive in this season. Like we've gotten to the point where it does feel like they are human characters, because I feel like that was like some of the disconnect in season 1 was that it was the human children, the AI parents, but like really truthfully, Lamia has an emotional connection to all these kids, like the ones that came out of her at least. And I mean,
yeah,
we won't get into spoilers for later in the season, but we see more, and I really do just enjoy pulling those qualities out of the android characters. We see more from Father in this season. I love that. So I feel like he kind of got shafted and tossed around in the first season, but I think that they really make a great use of that character this season. First episode, it was like good to see them wake back up, because remember the last season they had like both we thought they had been destroyed. So it was nice to see that they, first things first, crack open the eyes and then roll right into it. But yeah, I'm loving this season so far. The visual effects, those that we've seen that are finished at least, are good. Really, really enjoyed the soundtrack. The score, fantastic, man. Fantastic. Like, I really love the sound editing on this show. I think the mixing and editing is immaculate. And a lot of just the sound effects are great. Like, they're fantastic. They really do fit in with this vibrant sci-fi. Well, not really vibrant, but they really give it the sci-fi mood that we're looking for. This deep, heady feels. So it's just really well done all around. And man, give us a season 3. Like, honestly, with the way things are going right now, I'll take another season. Now, let me ask you, was episode 6 the last episode of the season?
There's no way.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
If it is, then I'm going to be like, wow, definitely a season 3 coming. Like,
yeah, like, because, yeah, absolutely. I want to imagine there's at least 8 episodes or maybe 7. It seems that a lot of streaming services are starting to do that trend, especially with Disney Plus. We've seen episodes for Marvel, like as long as WandaVision, but then we've seen them as short as, for Falcon and Winter Soldier, for Loki, with 6 episodes. It's kind of all around. I mean, even with Peacemaker, I believe that is 8 episodes. And I feel like that is more of a nice sweet spot, because you can kind of like shave off a little bit of like trim off the fat there a little bit for like episodes that aren't maybe as needed. It's very hard to say if episode 6 is the final, but I'm hoping it's at least.
So I just looked it up and I saw a source, decider.com, said 8 episodes.
Okay.
I did see another one when I Googled, though, that I saw 6. So I'm like, I think it's 8, though. It's got to be just by the way episode 6 ends. I don't think it would end on that heavy of a cliffhanger.
Right.
So it seems like there's going to be 8. I think there's going to be 8.
Yeah, definitely. I'm praying that there is.
Okay, I got another couple sources that say 8. Okay, so 8.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like to be the sweet spot, kind of. I mean, I believe even Euphoria is only 8 episodes season 2.
Good. Yeah, see, Book of Boba Fett, man, should have been 8.
I agree. Definitely agree. It's a weird trend, we've usually, when it comes to a lot of these series, we're so used to just 10 episodes, bing, bang, boom. But, now as of late, we've been getting a lot of 6 to 8 episode runs. But yeah, so for my initial thoughts for Raised by Wolves season 2, I'm right there with you, Leo. I love this dystopian future of, Earth is destroyed and humanity is essentially on its last limb. And, there's these androids, and it's I gotta say, going into the series altogether, especially season 1, I thought it was interesting. And like you say, there is more of a disconnect in season 1 versus season 2, since, the androids do act a little bit more robotic and less emotionless. But as you said, as the season goes on, especially after episode 1, where, mother and father wake up, they're on the other side of the planet, and things kind of just, they're just back into it. There's no real recovery for them. They just, they kind of just, okay, hey, we're here. Our mission has not failed yet. And also, where are my children type situation. But you would definitely see, like you said, with Campion, even with Paul, you see these characters start to evolve, and they're not really helpless children anymore, which is really, really nice.
Starting to shape their own destinies a bit.
Right. Yeah, they're starting to gain their identity, and like you say, with mother and father, they are more human-esque in season 2. And I think that's a good thing, because it's I guess it's the the more you hang around humans, the more you kind of learn the mannerisms, and these are androids. They're learning, they're adapting for how long they're going to ever be in service. Of course, we have with Mother. She was, she's a necromancer that was essentially reprogrammed for motherhood, and it still just blows my mind that she basically had sex in the first season and got pregnant for it's number 7, which is the serpent. We kind of got that. It is okay. Before I get any further, I had to throw out that little spoiler warning. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but that is your first spoiler warning, especially for episodes 1 through 3. Again, really
1 through 3
quick.
spoilers.
That is your second spoiler warning. So if you haven't seen episodes 1 through 3, turn back now, because I tend to get carried away, and I do apologize. But let me reel back here a little bit. It's just crazy that we have this serpent. Besides it being called number 7, I don't necessarily think it has a name, but it's not mechanical, but I guess you could say it's not a standard mythical living life form. I forgot the name that they actually use for it in the show, but
I gotta say this, it does look great finalized in the show.
Yeah, no, it looks it's
awesome.
It's a very it's more of it's not just your typical snake. It kind of has it's almost alien with the fang.
Yeah, and it flies.
Yeah,
without any arms or legs. It's just flying in the air.
Yeah, which is weird, and it's actually it's an herbivore, so it doesn't kill. It's not a carnivore. Doesn't eat meat. As we've seen so far, but it's very
yet. Hell, we don't. We don't know now.
It's probably the biggest mystery of the show, and the other side of the earth. There's this acid water with these beings that are lurking around. That's it poses a little bit more of a threat, but the entire show. I guess you can call it more of this is like this isn't like Star Wars sci-fi or Dune sci-fi. Well, this is like
no, it's like more of like a drama. It's more of like a sci-fi drama. Like it's very story driven. It's very much
biblical as well.
Like, yeah, it's pretty biblical as well. It really gets into just like deep, heady sci-fi themes and religious themes, and it really dives deep into the subject. So like, it's not an action-packed show. Don't expect lightsabers. Like, there's just not going to be anything like that really in the show.
There's a little bit of action, but like when there is,
very
it's
small
good.
amount. Yeah,
very, very small. It is a very dialogue-driven show. Like this isn't a show you can just turn on, in the background and kind of like follow along. Like no, like it's more so like Game of Thrones, where you have to pay attention to figure out what's going on. Like you have to like pay attention to every single line of dialogue, or else you're going to miss a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how the show is, because it's trying to tell the story that is a slow burn, but I mean, like there's a lot of great slow burn stories out there. But it is can't really say sophisticated, but it's just different. From the mind of Ridley Scott, of course. I think he directed the first few episodes of season 1. But
But he's the executive producer of the whole show.
Yeah. So it's some pretty interesting stuff. But I mean, I gotta ask, what are you thinking of Marcus and his rise to Soul? Long live Soul.
Yeah, man, he is devoted to Soul, which I mean, I have my reservations about Soul. I have some theories, but he is very devoted to Soul, and like he is converting people pretty easily. Like he's really manipulative and has really manipulated people onto his side. I don't want to say super easily, but I mean, he's been able to really tap into their emotions. And it is just a testament to how emotions and feelings and thoughts can really be, swayed.
Controlled. Persuade.
Control and swayed from one side to another. And I love this like play on sides that we've got going on here. But Marcus, man, we can't get into it, but there's more to him this season. I love that we get more from all these characters. I feel like the pacing and the amount of screen time characters get in this season is far better than the last season, because I feel like the first season, now having seen the second, like I came back from that first season not feeling like I got enough of anybody. Like maybe just Lamia and Father. Those are probably the two.
Yeah, the main two.
I would say Lamia and Campion. And then like everybody else, it kind of feels disconnected. But now this season, things are really building. Characters are developing in the way that makes sense for their arcs. And I think these first 3 episodes really get you set up for the next 3, which are crazy. Like, I mean, I think the first 3 are like a nice appetizer to what's to come, because the second 3 are definitely a lot of crazier shit happens in the second 3.
They really do. And it's like you said, it kind of is. Episode 1 through 3 is a little bit more of the calm before the storm. We kind of see within the first few episodes, there's this I guess you can kind of call like a colony. It's called the Collective, ran by oh my gosh, what was his name? The Voice. Well, not the Voice, but the being in the tank. I'm blanking on the name because it's came from like the same technology that Mother is from their, I'm assuming their original creation. Yeah. So I really like how it's weird because it's the Collective there. This is colony of humans that they're taking orders from otherworldly beings and just robots in general. Like every single day, like the humans have a task, and it's all to serve the colony. And even sometimes some of those tasks can be a bit outlandish. And some people may or may not come back, but it's all to kind of like help humanity thrive in a way. And, I really like how it really just is that colony where even if if you have a child that's, it's like, oh, like obviously, they have their birth parents, but they're raised by the entire collective. They're raised by the entire colony. So they're kind of like lumped in together. And then, we see Tempest through the first 3 episodes. She's still well and pregnant, and she kind of mentions, when she has her baby, like she kind of wants to give it over to the collective. So it's a very interesting concept that I like how they're going for, at least within the first 3 episodes. I do believe it sets up events very well for episodes, 3 through 6, where, things are eventually just going to get crazy and haywire. And there's even more mystery to dive into. And
yeah, man. Yes. There's so much more. And now I'm looking forward to now that I know that there's 8 episodes, I'm looking forward to the last 2, because I just feel like we have been on such a great trajectory. The first 3 being like this setup, really getting us caught back up with the stories, what's going on with number 7. Then the second 3 have their own arc, and I feel like the last 2 are really going to close things out strong. Now, I think there's another season coming.
There better be.
I can't imagine it ending at this season, but I do think we're probably in for like one more, and that's it. And I think that would be a perfect end to this series of 3, because let's be real. I feel like what's going on here is, in the broader scheme of things, humans have really truly been robbed of free will, because it's either be controlled by the AI or be controlled by the religion. And I think what's going on here is we're building up a character, I don't want to spoil, but a character to essentially actually not be Marcus or Mother, and be like the middle beacon to really guide people into their own realizations and thoughts, and just giving them their own free will to be like, okay, you can do whatever you want type of environment, because it feels so controlled by both sides right now, right? It's like you either got the AI or the religious side. And it's like, I think there needs to be this ushering of do whatever you love or whatever you like, not what you're forced to. So I think that's kind of where we're going with this show, but I've loved what we've seen so far, man. I can't wait for more.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I really like how you brought up that, just the choice of free will, where, you have Mother who, doesn't, she's a bit, she's always been a bit off. And then, you have Father, who's usually the more reasonable one. And I really like what they're doing with Father this season. I mean, I feel like, he had stuff to do in season 1, but I feel like in season 2, it really just goes deeper into, there's characters who are, swaying to a different side than I never thought that they would, if that makes any sense, especially with episodes 3 through 6, there's so much happening, and it forces, humans to kind of, either crack, like when they're cracking under pressure, where, hey, are you going to do something about it? Or are you just going to, revert back and scurry away and kind of just let things play out, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of, when humans, and actually this is borrowing a quote from The Legend of Korra, actually, and I think it really applies to what's going on in Raised by Wolves season 2, when Korra was at her lowest point, when she couldn't airbend anymore, or couldn't bend in general. And then she kind of, the whole, the Avatar state kind of kicks in. And I believe it was Aang that said, when people are at their lowest point, they're open to the greatest change. And we see that with a few characters through episodes 3 through 6, where certain events happen, and they're kind of forced to choose to go one way or the other. And, you kind of just see that unfold in a natural way. So that was the best non-spoiler the best non-spoiler explanation I could give.
Absolutely.
Without, but that's all I want to say about episodes 3 through 6, because it is such a wild ride. And, there's more mystery, you get more answers to certain things. And, that just leaves you with more questions. And, whew, man, oh man, it is just such a wild ride. But I guess let's just kind of like close out here. I didn't want to take too much of your time, Leo. I know you're a very busy man, so
I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it.
But let's get into final thoughts about just what we've seen so far, and give your rating of just the overall season.
Yeah, sure. So I really love this season. I think it may even be a little bit better than the first season. I really love that, like I was saying earlier, just doubles down on a lot of the great nuances of the first season and really starts to build these characters. And it's feeling less stagnant. I think in the first season, I was feeling a little stuck sometimes, and I don't feel that way this season, even though we're all on one central location. I just think the balance of stories is really well done. And you've got the kids now going out to explore other places. Like it really does take us to some different places here. So I like that the setting moves and things like that. And it's just such a great show with deep themes, really good storytelling, just great visuals. I mean, when they're finalized and done, and a really good score. I just really enjoy this. It's all around really a well-told story. And I'm looking forward to like how it all gets to the ending. Cause I think we got one more season and then that's it. More. Like I don't think you could drag this out much longer.
No. And I really do appreciate that we have been seeing a lot of shows that have shorter seasons. I mean, even with Dickinson's, that's only a 3-season run, and it's quite possibly some of the best television I've like seen. Like just from and it's not like a biopic, but it's more of like a dark comedy type situation. But it does tell a very interesting story, and eventually all good stories must come to an end, no matter how short or how long. Even with like Avatar: Last Airbender, that only ran for 3 seasons, and it's my favorite TV show of all time. And you don't need every not every series needs to have like
not everyone needs an 8-season treatment. Game of Thrones and all that.
Yeah, like 8 to 10 episodes. Not episodes, but seasons. Yeah, like you said, season treatment. And because like it sounds exciting at first, but if there isn't really much of a story to tell, then oh well. But I definitely feel like just one more season to kind of wrap everything up. Wrap up the mystery of what's going on, and man, like even just the horror elements in this show, especially season 2, have been phenomenal. You're just drawn into it, but there's this looming threat that we still don't know anything about, and we're getting, multiple looming threats, so-called threats, that they say. I think Soul being one of them, but we really don't know who or what that is.
Yeah.
So it's it is some crazy stuff. But yeah, for me, I'm really just enjoying the season so far, and just wanted to thank HBO Max for sending those screeners our way, so that we can kind of just get out there and spread the good word of Soul, spread the good word of the androids and mother and father. I really love Father's.
Yeah, Father's awesome.
I've noticed he hasn't told as many jokes as of
late.
Well,
he's been busy this season.
He has been busy, very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping to hear a few, within the first few episodes. I was like, he's not a jokester as much anymore. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
he's preoccupied.
He didn't stop cracking the jokes.
For sure. Oh man, but overall, so far, for me, rating so far, I would say this is like a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It's
solid.
It's just, man,
4 out of 5, man.
I didn't think I was.
I'm like 8.5 out of 10. I really just think this is solid, man. There's some spots in it where it's a little slow, but honestly, I just think the payoff is worth it all. And I think the last 2 episodes are about to be like, whoa, mind blowing.
And you have to keep watching, no matter even if it is the pacing kind of, because like you're gonna miss something if you turn away from the screen. Like, wait, what did he say? It's like, no, you gotta pay attention, like 100%. So definitely, man, oh man. So that pretty much concludes our overview of Race by Wolves season 2, episodes 1 through 6. Just wanted to thank Leo again for coming on to the show again. You know, it's always great to have him on, and you know he's doing some amazing work over at Geekly Goods as well as Cinemania. I know he's been showing up over there. So let's actually pass it back over to Leo so he can let you know what's coming up on his channel, where he's going to give you that nice HBO special.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast again, man. It has been a pleasure chatting with you. Yeah, y'all hook your boy up with that HBO special, the Help a Brother Out special. Hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, y'all, for notifications for the latest videos on my channel, Geekly Goods, which is over on YouTube, guys. And we talk the latest in movies, TV, a little sprinkle of anime in there as well, guys. Pretty much the same as Christian, too. Do a lot of reviews on the latest movies and then reactions as well. So come check us out over on Geekly Goods, and then hit me up across any social media platform. That's TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd at Leo Rydel GG, and y'all will see you in the comments.
All right. Thanks for that, Leo. So for us, what's coming up on the show? Actually, we've been very busy this past week. We released a lot of episodes, some unplanned, some not. We have our Jackass Forever review out on the podcast right now, as well as our Oscar nomination / reaction / predictions episode, where me and Devin kind of dabble into the Oscars there for a little bit. It's been a while since we've covered any type of award show here on the podcast, and we also have our Book of Boba Fett season 1 review that is out now. That's where we cover the entirety of season 1. So definitely check out our thoughts there. And we have our Hunger Games Catching Fire review. We're coming back with our franchise revisited series for the month of February that will be dropping on February 16th. Man, I gotta say, I just finished rewatching Catching Fire, and I was like, I forgot how good that movie was. I'm like, this is, talk about a climax. And whew, man, oh man, I'm very excited, like, to just kind of get back into that world. It's been a while since I've delved into the Hunger Games world, but yeah, definitely check out those all of our recent reviews that we're doing, and of course, all of Leo's social plugs will be in the episode notes down below. And before we close out today, I just wanted to let you guys know to make sure to share an episode of our podcast with a friend, with your friend, your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it may be. Share them an episode of our podcast. If they love movies, if they love TV, if they love award season, or if they simply just love us gushing about all the Marvel content that we cover here on the show, definitely share a friend with someone who is looking for a podcast in need. And of course, you can always show us some love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and or on Spotify. Yes, Spotify has ratings now. It's crazy stuff. Look us up over there at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. So we're going to close out here really quick for you guys, and we hope you guys have a great rest to your weekend, and go Bengals for the Super Bowl. All right, y'all. And that is a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Leo. My name is Christian, and remember to never stop watching.
Never stop. Go Rams.